Come on now. Y'all already know what this is. First things first. God did this. Don't get mad with us. I'm your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight. And we got the one man and the only man that's going to check you into the Heartbreak Hotel. It's Heartbreak Prince himself. Look, now y'all know nighttime. This is episode 7, man. Look, we've been coming to y'all very consistently on Thursday nights, okay? And you know what we came here to do. You know we got to talk about that AEW Dynamite. Can't lie, man. They, it was one thing we had a banger last week with the 300th episode, but this week, man, look, they kicked off the episode with Mercedes Monet. First of all, okay, talking about she's ready to get the 7th belt, ready to be 7 belt Monet, as we would call her, the Shenron. Okay, look, she came out there, talked about she's pretty much ready to have the 7th belt. And then at one point, she starts to call out Tony Storm. Tony Storm, let alone backstage with Luther, was sitting there talking. And Mercedes Monet said, all that talk you doing behind the screen will mean nothing. I'm saying, why don't you come meet me face to face? Tony said, I'm here. Hit my music. Comes out. And honestly, a few questions that Tony Storm had asked Mercedes. She said, what are you afraid of? Don't you know you're doing all this for a legacy? We're all going to die. Everybody's talking about having a boring life. I'm worried about having a boring death or an ordinary death at that. I said, man, Tony, where you getting at this? But even to the point where they both, drink up some champagne, toast it up, and Tony, being good old Tony Storm, told her to eat a few things. Okay. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the way this whole thing is shaping out, I don't know, man. This looks really good, and I'm really liking the story that they're telling. Tony Storm even said to Mercedes, like at one point, Mercedes tried to say to Tony that we're both in the same paths. We both came from similar paths, but the only difference is I'm a winner, and I'm always gonna win. Tony told Mercedes, "You're just gonna be known for not getting the big one." Now, I'm not gonna lie. A few times I thought to myself, I said, "Man, well, Mercedes had a few of those moments back in her WWE days." I said, "Oh man, you kind of low-key hitting a deep cut with that one." But I like this, and honestly, I'm really starting to think Mercedes might not be winning this, bro. It's like every week I feel like we change up. We're like, yo, I think it's Mercedes now. I don't know, but the way this is looking, I'm thinking this storm is gonna prevail, and I think maybe we talked about a few weeks ago with the downward spiraling of her losing all the rest of the titles to get to that one might be happening. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Excellent way for them to kick off AEW Dynamite this week with these two ladies. It seems like Tony Khan and the creative team understands that this is a moneymaker. It's being billed as one of the biggest matches in women's history between these two ladies that is going to take place at All In. And I have to say, with the buildup and things and the story that has been going on between them, I can see why this match, has that billing of being the biggest women's match in wrestling history. Now, I'm sure we can go back and we can find some other women's matches that probably had that same feel. So I don't want to give any disrespect to any of those matches, but for this right here that's coming up at least this week when we have AEW All In and Evolution, this is probably the most interesting match that we're going to have, the most exciting match that we're probably going to have between two ladies this week because of what's at stake and what's on the line. I loved Timeless Tony Storm's statement this week that she made to Mercedes Monet, where she told her, Mercedes, you fear an ordinary life. I only fear an ordinary death. I said, "Oh my gosh, timeless Tony Storm at her
Poetic.
best. You know, she's poetic. She's cinema all by herself. I love her standing backstage with Luther and the black and the white and Mercedes saying, you know, timeless, Tony Storm, you need to come out here and in the ring with me or whatever from hiding behind. And she says, Mercedes, who says that that I wouldn't come out or whatever, and she comes out to the ring and she
Hit my
kicks her
music.
shoes off. Yeah, hit my music. She kicks her shoes off. I'm like, let's go. I mean, this was a great promo, great build going into All In on Saturday, and I think these ladies delivered. I know the crowd loved the slip up that Mercedes had
Oh
in
yeah.
her promo where she said, this Saturday. But I mean, hey, look, we're only human, right? So I ain't gonna kill her for that or anything like that. They killed that promo as a whole together. The way they were in the ring. Timeless Tony Storm actually looked prepared this week. She looked like she had her chin up, her tits out, and watching for the shoe. And I was happy to see it. And it's the excitement that they have building going into Saturday that just makes this match, again, I keep saying every week, it is the match I'm looking forward to the most. Because the story behind what they're going for, that what's at stake with Tony having the AEW Women's World Championship, and then Mercedes Moné having 6 other championships. And if she adds this one, it's it, man. Like, what else can you possibly do? This lady has not lost a title match since being in AEW. If a title's on the line, Mercedes Moné is going to go over, and she's gonna win. And so it's going to be interesting. I really do believe that these two ladies are going to deliver one hell of a match at All In on Saturday. I'm hyped. I'm excited for it. I can't wait. I just can't wait to see what this outcome is, because honestly, at this point, I just don't feel like you can go wrong either way. If you go with Timeless Tony Storm, you win. If you go with Mercedes Moné, you win. And so, I I want to know what comes next. I'm excited to see what comes next once we figure out where this is going. What's next? What's the next shoe to drop?
Yeah, man. Because it's again. This has me always thinking. You know what? I think Mercedes has got it this week. You know what?
Yeah.
Now Tony, and
Now
honestly, yeah,
Tony's
it's
up.
so I think even they said it on commentary. It's not like this is literally two people just matching each other's levels just
Yeah.
multiple times, and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. Just them trying to
Yeah.
match just the high level that they're already at. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited for this, man. This is
I,
gonna
I
be a banger.
I truly believe these ladies are going to deliver something special come Saturday and All In. And I don't know which one is going to be the main event. If it's going to be Adam Hangman Page, or if they're going to make this the main event. But I just think kudos to the whole card, because I mean that's how tough it is with some of the matches they have going for All In this Saturday. But I do think this is going to be an A1 banger between Thomas Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because I mean, even after that, they had good old John Monson, the man that Mr. Susan said has no aura.
Dripping aura right now. He's dripping
Dripping it.
aura right
Dripping
now.
aura. Dripping aura, okay? That's adaptation. You hold the line. Pretty much just, this man is trying to get me mentally prepared for what we're about to see. And I'm loving everything about this. Then we flash forward to good
He should
old.
have been Takeshita.
It should have been Takeshita. It should have been Kyle Fletcher, because it was Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita. Look, man, these guys had faced good old Brody Lee and Bandito. I mean, honestly, I see why Don Callis vouches for these men. This was a banger of a match. I mean, Takeshita really getting the W over Bandito. And I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen Brody Lee get pinned yet. And I am still waiting to see, will he ever have that moment? I don't think so. They're keeping that man looking strong, regardless if Bandito is the Ring of Honor World Champion or not. Yeah, something's gonna be planned up for that man. Then we flash forward to the Hurt Syndicate, man. Now this was one of my favorites right here. Now MJF talking and saying that pretty much the one-on-one with him and Mark Briscoe's not gonna be a one-on-one. Okay. Then all of a sudden they start looking into their locker room and they noticed that the titles are gone. They Night Speedball done took their titles. Okay. To the point now where Sheldon and Bobby are pissed off and now they got to figure something out. But then, right after that, we flash forward to MJF and Mark Briscoe. Okay, now this was crazy, man. You want to talk about disrespectful. You want to talk about even points where I was like, nah, ain't no way he gonna talk about Jay Briscoe. Oh yeah. And he did, because Mark even brought it up. He said, I know you're gonna say something about my brother. I'm waiting for it. I done prepared myself all week for this. And Jeff said, man, I ain't gonna do that. I'm not gonna say nothing about your brother. But one thing I will say is that he's probably looking down from heaven and rolling over in his grave, saying that it should have been you in the accident. I said, oh, oh my God,
Crazy
MJF
work.
went diabolical, man. Come on. And then after that, Mark Briscoe started throwing hands with MJF, and you know what happens if you touch MJF? Who's coming out? The Hurt Syndicate. Because what do? They hurt people. But at this point, they weren't
Hurt
the ones hurting
people.
people. They were the ones getting hurt. Okay? Because Kevin Knight and Speedball came out and started to beat the hell out of Sheldon, Bobby, and MVP. And then after that, the freaking Patriarch comes out. And man, I ain't gonna lie, this was devastating to see. I mean, Christian, come on, man. Nick ain't out here sitting there just hitting chair shots to Bobby Lashley's knee, okay? To the point to
Chair
where
shot.
now this is how they were looking, and this is the finish right here. Look at this. Look at this. Man, I'm not gonna lie. They kept asking and saying, who is the tag team that can step up to the Hurt Syndicate? I'm not gonna lie. This had me a little bit worried, a little shaken up. And I thought to myself, man, I haven't seen the Hurt Syndicate get beat down like this ever, ever. Okay. I mean, this was really good though. To be honest, I love the physicality. By the way, MJF, come on, man. You killed it with the promos as always. That's never a shock, never a surprise. And then to be honest, Mark Briscoe, you held your own. You've been holding your own for a while. And what I like to see, people really saying this whole small pickle thing about MJF. Like they're starting to make signs about MJF small pickle. I think that's hilarious. But yeah, man. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. The way how they sold this, the way they told this story, with everybody beating the hell out of the Hurt Syndicate, I thought to myself, now everybody's injured. Because Shelton's got injured ribs, and now they already done told the story with Bobby Lashley with the knee. So I'm thinking to myself, man, is this now the time that maybe the Hurt Syndicate might lose the tag team titles? But the question is, if they do lose, who do they lose it to? Kevin Knight and Speedball or the Patriarch? At this point, I mean, the Patriarch is trying to claim that they're going to be the first father and son tag team in history. That'd be pretty crazy. But I mean, to see Kevin Knight and Speedball as tag champs wouldn't be bad, but it can. Hey, Christian on the mic, Christian Cage on the mic. Not gonna lie, man, that might be a sight to see. So we'll see what happens. Heartbreak, Chris. What are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Man, oh man, was this segment here fire. Um, I was just I don't even I can't put my thoughts together thinking about this specific segment here when it came to the Hurt Syndicate and what I witnessed. Because when they were in the locker room and they said, hold on, we got to go get our tag team titles for a photo shoot. And they walked around the corner and those tag team titles weren't there. The first thing in my head is somebody's about to get hurt. Somebody's getting ready to pay for this. And when they cut to the MJF promo and they were doing their thing, him and Briscoe in the ring, I was like, okay, this is good. Briscoe was holding his own, and of course MJF had to be MJF. He just couldn't help himself. And he had to bring up Briscoe's brother and him, rolling over in his grave because of the fact that he think it should have been him in the car accident. And I'm like,
Crazy.
all right, Briscoe, at this point, yeah, all bets are off. You just got to throw hands, and he did. But the minute he started throwing hands and the music hit, we heard people. I said, oh, Briscoe, you done did it now. You done up and done it now. because who gonna hurt you like me? Nobody. When Bobby and them came out, that's what I was saying. Who gonna hurt you like me? Nobody. Man, I was so hyped because I was like, man, he put hands on MJF. The Hurt Syndicate music immediately hits. I love it. I love it. I love it because it's like, look, you touch one of ours. It's not like you're gonna be in the ring for 2 or 3 minutes beating up on them before we come. You touch them, it's immediate. It's
Instantly
on
on
site.
site.
And,
Yeah.
and then they swerved me, and I went from being hyped to just like mouth drop, pause. Like I just could not believe the Hurt Syndicate was taking this type of beatdown.
Yeah,
And
man.
and when the Patriarch came out, I was like, oh my goodness. Or in this case, my God, because the concertos to the knee, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. I can't believe what fell. Rounders reference, by the way. But yeah, it was just crazy, man. It was crazy work. And I was like, okay, if the Patriarch gets involved and they actually go for these titles, I wouldn't mind seeing it because I say what you want. I do enjoy some Christian. Him, this role and the Patriarch, he's hilarious. To me, the act has not run dry yet. I don't know how others feel about it. I just think him on the mic is also levels of gold. And I love how he acts, how he reacts to stuff. Like this week, what's the name? Went to shake his hand and he had to literally pick Christian's hand up and shaking it. And he's like wiping his hands like it was the most disgusting thing that ever happened to him. I love it. I love it all. But the concertos to the knee, then they got in the ring and they was still dishing punishment. It was crazy work that I was witnessing, and I was just shocked because I'm used to seeing the Hurt Business hurt people, and I just was not used to seeing them be hurt. I mean, they took nobody was safe. Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP all taking beat downs. I mean, it was everybody. And I was like, surely they're gonna get some offense in. They tried, it didn't work.
It did not.
And then the one thing I want to point out real quick, Ian, I'll end it there, is if you notice, every week I pay attention to what MJF is doing.
Bro,
and he took off running like the coward he is, straight through the crowd. But I said, MJF, they came out here because you started stuff again. They were out here to hurt people. They're getting hurt, and you ran off into the back. What in God's name is going on here? Like, you, no spine. You yellow back. Like, no spine. I'm like, he took off running. I said, all right. I hope Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin are paying attention to this, because this is brewing. Something is brewing. And, this is week after week, he starts stuff and then they come out to finish it. But I'm keeping an eye on it. Because it's crazy work by MJF.
Because that's the first thing I said. Oh, there go MJF. I would expect to see him coming back.
Nope. Nope. They were out there getting destroyed, and he never came back. They left my man. He took off running. They left my man. He left both of my guys out there just hanging. Just all three of them. Even MVP was getting beat down. I'm like, MJF, help somebody. Do something.
He said, nah, y'all got it. Yep.
He saw those concertos to the knee. He said, I ain't ready for that. I'm out.
Man. And then the way Bobby sold that, I said, man, y'all are doing great.
He did. They were killing it. I mean, I actually had to look at Speedball and Kevin Knight. I keep wanting to say Eric Knight. Kevin Knight. I was like, man, just maybe there might be something in the water here.
It could be. I don't know, man.
I feel like at the end of the day, Hurt Syndicate on Saturday, when they get their hands on them, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
Nobody.
That's what I'm thinking too, man. I'm like, nah, I can't see the Hurt Syndicate taking no L.
Nah.
At least just not now. Like, nah.
They're gonna have to do a little bit more than them boys. Them boys right there, they tough. Them boys tough.
They really are. Honestly, but I'm intrigued with him. I'm intrigued with what they got going on. I was also intrigued with Ricochet too, with this new group that he's got.
He
what
is
the
looking pretty good.
yeah,
The
yeah.
what's the name? Angel? Oh God,
Something's
he
of
did
the
the
gate
angel.
or some
Yeah, there go back to the move
GOA.
is
I
the
know it's
angel wing,
something.
or I can't think of
Yeah.
the name right now. Gosh, it's killing me. But yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I like it too. I really do like where that's going, and I like the little finisher with the angel wings or something like that. I
Yeah.
forget how they called it. Oh my gosh, it's killing me right now.
This
But
is
yeah,
good though
it's
for him.
looking good. It really is.
I
Yeah,
think it's
I
looking
like it too.
solid. Something
Yeah,
see, and I don't think he would have got. Of course, we could. I don't think he would have gotten nothing like that in WWE. And I like to see what he's doing right
yeah,
now. Like, I feel like him, Mustafa Ali. I feel like ever since they kind of departed, you see them kind of making their own faction or group. So
yeah,
I'm very intrigued to see if Ricochet brings a woman into his group at one
yeah.
point. Because that's how you bring it up. You bring
Yeah.
a woman in there now, it's changing the
Yeah,
game.
but
You got
okay, who fits in
it's a
this?
good it's a good question. Who would fit in that group with Ricochet?
I mean,
Ah,
we got to answer it now. If it don't come to right to mind, but I do
I
think you got to
know.
have a woman in this faction. I think the female needs to be in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, something. Maybe Athena. I wouldn't be mad if Athena was in
Okay.
that, you know?
Okay.
Her with the minions and everything. That could work.
Yeah.
That could cook. It could cook. Who
Yeah.
knows? But speaking of the ladies, man, we got to talk about this fatal four-way match that happened with Megan Bayne, Queen Aminata, Tekla, and Tay Mello. Now, honestly, this was a really good match, and they had Chris Statlander sitting in the crowd. Now, to be honest, I know a lot of people love Megan Bayne, and a lot of people are up for they love Tekla and all her new little stuff that she does. The little spider wall, spider crawl thing. Um, Tekla. But honestly, I think Megan Bayne versus Chris Statlander for them to be number one and number two, it's going to be interesting of a start for this gauntlet match, man. I'm very curious as to see what's going to happen, especially with Chris Statlander. I'm not just saying this because he's from Long Island, but I'm saying this because he's from Long Island. You need to get this dub. If it ain't gonna be you, then it needs to be Willow. Okay? Now let me stop. Honestly, I'm okay with whoever wins this gauntlet match, to be honest with you. This is gonna be a banger. I don't think they're really missing anything when it comes to this. Especially when you got first of all, by the way, Queen Aminata was killing it in this match. Getting over, getting the pop, the crowd was popping for her. I mean, this is all the stuff that you wanted, man. And I really think this women's division in AEW is completely cooking up, man. It really is. I know everybody. I know we always talk about NXT. We talk about WWE. How much how much their roster is pretty much thriving and at its best. But hey, I'll tell you this. I feel like the AEW women's division and they're stepping up and they've been doing it. And I think they're showing that with this. I think the last few weeks with these fatal four-way matches with the women, they've been showing y'all they've got women that can go. Okay, and I'm excited to see what they do with this gauntlet match because I'm curious to see if we see any returns, if anybody comes around, because they're gonna say if your number gets picked. I'm not gonna lie, people are gonna want to. They're gonna want to see Willow. They're gonna want to see Tekla. Everybody, I like Tekla. Tekla is something different. But honestly, I don't know what it is, man. Queen Aminata, man, she got me. She got me. She's got a lot of athleticism that I'm like, yeah, you know what? Give this to the queen. The queen needs this. But no, I mean, honestly, whether it's Chris Statlander or Megan Bayne or whoever wins this gauntlet match, I believe is going to be the rightful winner. So, but again, I just honestly think at this point with Chris Statlander, I think they're telling some stuff and some stories that we might be seeing. There's a possibility we could be seeing Chris Statlander joining the Death Riders. I would not be surprised. I mean, I still would be surprised if she joins them on Saturday at All In. I wouldn't even be surprised if she was the cause for Adam Page not winning, let alone maybe for the rest of the Death Riders getting a win for the night. I would not be surprised if she had some involvement. Or if she wins, will she get help from Marina Shafir? That's the real question for me. That's the real question. Now, granted, she didn't come around this week, but I'm very intrigued to see if they're going to move my girl Chris Statlander to that one of those main people in the Death Riders. Might as well shoot. Who knows? You got all these women cooking up. Could make an AEW women's tag team division. Hey, Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Yeah, I have to agree on this match here. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a little short though. For what
Mm,
was going on and the action that we were getting. I thought it was a little short. I wanted to see a little bit more and see these women go a little bit more because I was actually enjoying the match. And the standout for me was Queen. I hated to see her take the pin. I hated to see her take the pin because I was really feeling what she was doing in the ring and how the match was going and playing out. The energy she had. Look, I was feeling a little unity. That's was unity. But I was going for the Queen, man. I ain't lying. I was feeling her, and then she had the little backstage segment where she got to get hers in, get a little more action in. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, they
her
might
and
be
Tekla,
building something.
yeah.
They might be building something here with these ladies, and I like it. I like to see, the women's division and its growth that's happening in AEW. They're getting there slowly but surely. They are definitely getting there with the women. Like I said, they're putting on matches like this. The fact that I was sitting here as a viewer and saying, man, I wish this match was probably another 5-7 more minutes, I would have been fine with it. Speaks volumes because I thought those women were throwing down in the ring. And yeah, very entertaining. But like I said, I agree. Queen was the star to me in that match. And again, getting a lot of offense. Chances are you're probably gonna take an L.
We tell y'all this.
You taking an L. And and
She,
and and what's the name? The Kevin Speedball and Kevin Knight, they had a lot of offense. Remember
hey,
that.
that's right. Too much
Yeah.
offense. So you know that's gonna happen. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, man. Yeah, you're 100% right, man. I think they're definitely getting it. In fact, shout out to Tay Mello, man. Yeah, I mean, you had a child, you brought yourself back into the ring, and you're still doing great stuff. I thought it was good to see
Yeah,
Anna
Tay
Jay
Miller
out
did well.
there. Yeah, Anna Jay was out there throwing hands with Penelope Ford. I was like, okay, we're showing storylines even in the small stuff. So this was good. I liked everything about this. I thought, the women are really, I think they're getting it, man. Just like you said, I think they're slowly but surely they're getting it. I wouldn't be surprised by if we're talking about next year, where we're talking about saying that AEW has one of the best women's division. I think they can really step it up. I think with a lot of time and everything they're putting in right now, I think they can do it. 100%. I definitely think they can get there. I wouldn't be surprised though, again, if we see a tag team division out of there, man. They got a lot of women that could tag and do something as well, let alone be single stars. So, Tony, you heard me. So, you know, I know you got it. So, one thing we got to talk about, because, this man, Wheeler Yuta, man, I don't know how many times this man just looks weak every time. But Samoa Joe, man, killing it. Few times in this match made me laugh. Of course, classic Samoa Joe. Somebody's on the top rope, and Samoa Joe just walks right off on the other side. Gotta love that classic move from him. He actually did it twice. First time was inside the ring. Second time was outside the ring. The second time was a little more painful than the first. But I mean, honestly, Samoa Joe getting the dub, making Wheeler Yuta tap out. Now I thought this match was a little fast. For him to try to almost get attacked and all the stuff with the Death Riders coming through, and of course with the Death Riders, with that foil kind of being the plan being kind of foiled, with the ops running out. First of all, Powerhouse Hobbs, man, that man is insane. Okay, I see that man, in person, like live. Yeah, man, no bread, no
No
water,
water,
just
just me.
me. That man is all business, man. Strictly business. And I ain't talking Nick Aldis. Man, but yeah, honestly, I thought this was a good match. It's one thing with Samoa Joe, man. Like, I think just something about him, man. That man is aura.
Aura.
Okay. Natural aura. I mean, it's still the same aura I feel like he had back in those TNA days, killing it in the X division stuff. I just feel like when it comes to Samoa Joe, he's got everything in a perfect package, and it's almost a damn shame he wasn't a world champion in WWE because I think he would have thrived, man. But I mean, honestly, to see him with the trios champion, to see Powerhouse House, I'm still intrigued, and I'm wondering when is Hook gonna come back and foil this whole thing because Hook's got to feel some type of way. Okay, I get injured now. You replace me. Okay, cool. Say less. When are you coming back, sir? When are you coming back to foil this plot? And I'm wondering if they're going to be doing a trios tag match. And it wouldn't surprise me if they did. They might as well. We already got all these bangers going on, which I'm pretty sure they are. probably going up against the Death Riders since they took the titles from them. But we'll see. I got to look at the card again. Maybe I feel like I'm getting a blank here, but I don't remember them mentioning it. But again, okay, you put them trio titles, everybody's going to want to see the ops. And I ain't lying, man. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
I'm gonna keep this hopefully as brief as the match between Samoa Joe and Wheeler Yuta. I'm not even. I don't have to waste time talking about Joe. We know what Joe is. We know the monster that Joe is. What got me this week is when Wheeler Yuta was coming out and they did his intro, and my man was coming from the back, and he had this business walk. He was doing things going on, head bobbing all over the place. And only thing I could think when I saw him is your statement of Wheeler Yuta has no aura. And I'm like, please, Wheeler, please show some aura right here, right now in the match with Samoa Joe. When Samoa Joe put that man in that coquina clutch, he tapped so quick. I said, he truly has no aura. Get this man out of here. Like, he needs to go. He wasn't in the coquina clutch 3 seconds. It was like instant. Coquina, and I'm out. I'm done. I tapped. I said, yeah, he's done. And I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with Wheeler. I'm starting to feel bad. He's almost getting the big Jim treatment. They keep sending that man out there to get beat down week after week after week. I mean, 2 weeks ago he got just T-boned by my girl. I can't think of her name right now. Willow Nightingale just blew him up, and then he came out here this week and they just have to stop. I don't. No more Wheeler Yuta. Just stop for a minute. He needs to go reinvent himself and come back after we haven't seen him in a while, so that we can just forget about this last month of him being on television. But good match. The outcome was what we knew it was going to be. But yeah, he tapped faster than Gunther. So no. I don't know what's going on here. This is diabolical work, man.
I'm telling you, bro. I don't know what it is, man. Like, if you had asked me about Wheeler Yuta a year and a half ago, I was like, yo, he's got something. Now,
he's got
no
nothing.
Aura, Brian. He's got nothing.
He's got nothing. There's nothing in that bag.
I'm telling you, bro, it's just an empty bag of tricks, man. I just be like, yeah, come on, Wheeler. This ain't you, bro.
Yeah.
Another pawn. Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, okay. You pretty up there on the board, so yeah. Oh man! But speaking of the Death Riders, we got to talk about this main event of a match that we had with good old Claudio, John Moxley, coming from the Death Riders, and the EVPs. You know, the Young Bucks, the best and the greatest tag team of all time, going up against the Ops and Will Ospreay and Adam Page. Now, this was a banger of a match. I mean, talk about super kicks, reversals, this, that, and the third. Of course, it's greatness.
Super kick.
Come on. You know that's going to be greatness because the Bucks is in there. I don't know how many times we didn't have to tell y'all. But the interesting thing about this is that the Death Riders started to attack majority of the Ops. Then they tried to attack Will Ospreay and Adam Page to the point where Nick and Matt Jackson are trying to put plastic bags on him. I don't know what that was about. I said, what, we going to suffocate him? All right, okay. This is new. Okay. Then, after them trying to pre-suffocate these men, we see a clip, or should I say, we cut almost forward to that man. When I swerved, then I ride. Yeah, Swerve was outside. And why was he outside? And I wondered, I said, why does this look like a construction truck? I'm not a man that's been in construction, but after a while, you watch wrestling after a few years, you kind of start to get the gist that, wrestling and construction are damn near hand in hand with some of these things. And this is one of those moments. Because Swerve was in one of those big old trucks, the trailers or whatever, like the big old, you know what it is. Anyway, to the point where Swerve legitimately destroys the Young Bucks limousine. I ain't gonna lie. I don't think hearing Taz and screaming and something about when Taz reacts to these things, makes it even better. And I loved it. And then to the point where the Bucks try to run out, and the Death Riders are now good scrambling, and everybody gets themselves together. Adam Page and all of them start to fight back. Now the Young Bucks come outside. They see Prince Nana, and they sitting there looking for Swerve, and then they turn around and Swerve done stomped on them. And man, this was a great sight to see. And this is the finish right here. I'll tell you, a lot of things about this show where I feel like we are possibly seeing, it seems like that the AEW talent is trying to take back of what AEW used to be. Even when I looked at this last segment here with the Bucks and with Swerve and how he was saying, I've been fighting on y'all about power and this, that, and the third with the power. Okay. Now he's like, it's time to take powers back in our own hands. I said, okay. You know, feel bad for the Bucks for real. Because I don't know how much bread y'all dropped in that limousine. and Nick Jackson told me, how are we gonna financially recover from this? That's a good question. So that same thing. Let alone the whole train being caught up with the limousine. How you gonna get that out of there? But hey, that's neither here or there. That's for the production team to figure that out later on. Okay. But I love this. I loved everything about this. And of course, Marina Shafir again walking up to Adam Page. Adam Page even said, I'm not afraid to do it again. I said, okay, Adam, show how daring you are. One other thing we got to talk about too, because I don't like what's going on. People try to say and try to create problems and try to create this fake rage about this whole thing with Adam Page hitting Marina Shafir. Now, the only reason why I can say this is fake rage is because it's AEW doing something. And then, of course, if y'all want to sit there and say that because it's an AEW situation doing something that is, like my man Harper Bridge would say, was daring, oh, please, please. This is y'all the same fans that would praise my man Randy Orton for RKOing Stacy Keebler. I'm pretty sure
Mm-hmm.
this man RKO Nia Jax, what, 8 years ago? And y'all was hyped for that? But Adam Page does a buckshot lariat to Marina Shafir, and now we're all outraged and pissed off. Man, please, a bunch of malarkey. Y'all are legitimately full of it with this. You know, Again, they're both professionals. If Marina Shafir didn't want to do it, she wouldn't have told him to. And again, I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10, Marina Shafir's probably been hit harder with that. So honestly, again, I don't know why y'all want to sit and get upset about AEW doing stuff, and y'all just saying this because we're not seeing that much stuff like that in WWE anymore. And I get it. Okay, cool. Y'all want to say it's not adjusting to the times, but please, if she didn't get clothesline, or if that didn't happen, then y'all say that they're not adjusting to the times. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. But honestly, again, y'all killed this. I love the story that y'all are telling. Keep doing what you're doing. Great Prince. What are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Yeah, I'm glad I don't feed into the stuff that's going on with that social media and the whole Marina Shafir thing. Like I said, as I said it last week, she's a professional wrestler. They're in a professional wrestling business, and she knows how to take bumps and be a part of these different scenarios. So I respect her for being a part of it and actually taking a buckshot lariat. And for whatever that is, like I said, it's not that we are promoting violence against women or anything of that nature or supporting that. That's we just looking at it as respect and for a business, for a professional. And we talk all the time about women being able to play sports and participate in sports. This is a sport or whatever you want to call it, entertainment. And they're participating in it. And I like I said, I commend them. I commend everybody that was involved in that promo last week. I think it did what it needed to do to send its message across about the seriousness of what Adam Hangman Page has to be in order to take down someone or group as serious as the Death Riders. That said, I have to say, love this segment here. I loved every bit of it. Even the suspense of the plastic bags coming out, and I'm like, oh Lord, what's about to happen here? Oh God. what am I about to witness here? You know, do I turn the channel? Do I turn the TV off? Am I about to witness on live television murder? You know, and it's like, what in the world? But you know, and to see Swerve come in because it was perfect. The crowd started chanting, "We want Swerve, we want Swerve," or whatever it was, and it cuts to him, and my man is in. It gave me flashbacks of wrestling of old, stuff like this
Mm-hmm.
that you would see with the cranes and the destroying cars and that belongs to like the rich, you know, billionaires, millionaire, whatever. That's the flashback I was having, and I was like,
Yeah.
you know, this is just cool because, you know, um, it's just good story. It's nostalgia. It's so much to it that I just enjoy. And I'm like, this is why I love wrestling as a kid and watching it and just sitting back, just turning the brain off and just, you know, taking this in and just being entertained. Like, you know what, this is cool stuff, you know. To see Swerve go to you know, go to this limit and then seeing the Bucks, you know, how they reacted and how they sold it. Like it was just great. It was comical. It was good. It was just a great segment, a great way to end the show. They walk out there, Prince Nana's there, and you know, and Swerve comes out of nowhere, you know, gives him the stomp to the ground. I love it. And he gives the message of I found the fathers. And I was like, look, it's cool, man. It's just cool stuff. And I just think that this was a great go home show for AEW All In. All of the setup and stuff just was right. I didn't have too many things that I could really complain about the show. They all gave each like segment gave additional weight to what's going to happen at All In or what's going to go on at All In, and it's just they did a good job, man. I can't say it enough. AEW really have been, you know, they've really been cooking for this All In pay per view, and I really do think that this is going to be a fire, you know, pay per view and show to watch, and the just the talent that they have for this card, it's just I don't know. I chef's kiss, you know, that's all I can say. I'm just excited. They did a really good job, and yeah, All In, it's gonna be fire.
Yeah, it's the reason why they said this is, you know, their biggest pay-per-view of the year. And I think they're really about to hit on all cylinders, man. This is the pay-per-view of all pay-per-views. And you know, like I said, man.
And real quick, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. We didn't
no,
even
you
get
good.
the one thing I was looking forward to see them build on that we didn't get this week was Omega and Okada.
Okada,
We
yeah.
didn't even see them this week. And you know, like
Yeah. Yeah,
or at
they
least
they
on
built it
Dynamite.
last week. Yeah, they built it
Yeah.
last week. I don't know if they I didn't see anything on Collision.
They just mentioned, yeah, I'm about to say, and I caught the tail end of Collision, so I got to go and watch back and watch the beginning of that. Um, but yeah, I didn't see Okada and Omega this week, which is
I feel
shocking.
like it's
Considering that it's
well, the thing that they did, they just kind of like did like one of those little, you know, like they kind of did one of those breakdowns of the shows and everything.
infographic, yeah, look,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
video
and
graphic things or whatever.
yeah, and they did talk about like Kenny Omega was talking about, you know, when they showed like after he beat Okada and he's like, I did everything in New Japan. Like they showed that and all those,
Yeah,
and I was like, man, I remember seeing all this. Like it kind of brought me back to when I was
back,
just
yeah,
watching and I was like, man, and I even thinking to myself, I was like, yo, this dude was something else, and had
yeah,
no clue this is what we be seeing, you know,
yeah,
almost 10 years from then.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, I mean that was kind of something they touched on a little bit. Nothing live in person, just a lot of, you know, and I get it because a match like that, I don't even feel like I don't think they have to do much with anymore. I feel like because the build is already so crazy, and it's
yeah.
one of those where I feel like just seeing it on the card says enough. Like
Enough, yeah,
so
yeah,
where we don't even have to see them, like it lets everybody else cook, like everybody else with the gauntlet match, and you know Mercedes and Tony with the Hurt Syndicate. Because honestly, I really thought we were just gonna see the Hurt Syndicate and Kevin Knight and Speedball, but the fact that we're getting the
the
patriarchy as well,
patriarch.
crazy,
Just, I love Christian,
crazy.
man. I really do. I love the patriarch. I
He's
that's
doing his best work, man.
yeah,
That whole
he
thing, him
really
and
is.
Nick Wayne, like
Yes, yes.
and me take the top, throw it on the
Yep,
floor.
yeah,
Like one week, I was like, yo, I was just, and because
yep,
I was just guessing, saying, what the hell is Christian gonna do this
y-
week?
yep, yep.
And it's just greatness out of that man.
It is.
He's doing his greatest work. I never.
Yeah,
This is better, and this is not even being biased, but I think this work that he's been doing now on
yeah,
AEW has
yeah.
been almost way better than anything he's done
And
in
he didn't.
WWE.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like character work. Yeah,
yeah,
I love it. Like
yeah.
he doesn't even like none of this is written down. He's really just doing
Just
this
he's
off
just
the
doing.
dome.
Yeah,
Like, come on, like
yeah.
this. He's in his second prime right
That's
now.
that's how good he is. Yeah. I'm happy for him because there was a good amount of time that I thought we would never like really see him because he was retired. So it was like, or at least he wasn't wrestling. I don't know if he ever fully retired or said he retired, but he wasn't wrestling. Him and Edge, and they were out. They were doing their other little shows and stuff like that together.
Yeah,
So you didn't think you would see him back in the ring and then back, just being this guy like this. Like it's kind of like I say, it's cool. I love Christian Cage. I love his work. I love the Patriarch. I love how that's going. Like I said, it has not run dry, and he's been doing the Patriarch now for a couple years,
yeah.
and it has not gone dry. Like every time it's a treat when I see him cutting a promo. It's just like, what nonsense is he getting ready to spill, or what is he getting ready to say or do that's going to be hilarious? And he generally delivers.
The turtleneck, the
Yeah,
freaking
the
jacket.
turtleneck, the blazer jacket all the
Yeah.
time. It's just smug, and I like when he gives Renee trouble. Like
Like
it's
Renee, oh my god! And
yeah,
then he'll say stuff about Nick Wayne's mom,
yep,
like right.
yep,
I'll be like,
right. That right,
jeez,
she right there. Yeah, he's he goes and they just let him do it. And I think they know the talent that he is, and they don't have to really put any handcuffs on him. They let him go, and I think that's what makes it cool. That's what makes it fun.
yeah, man, that's what you need. That, and I think that's what makes those moments so like even better because you're just letting
Yep,
them just work. Because now
yep,
they can feel that
yeah,
that moment, and they can really like be in it and just do what they need to do. And
yeah,
a vet like that, you gotta let him cook. Gotta let him cook, man. But I'm excited for All In, man. This is gonna be really, really of a banger of a show. I mean, from Mercedes and Tony to Moxley and Adam Page, the Hurt Syndicate with the Patriarch and Kevin Nash
we
Speedball.
hurt people.
We hurt people. When it's both of the men's gauntlet and the women's gauntlet matches, then it's like we're looking at, even from the tag team match with Swerve and Will Ospreay and the EVPs, man. I think we got so much in store, man. This is gonna be a banger of a show, and I can't wait.
Oh, we
But
get to witness greatness and tag team. Like, oh, that's hype.
that's
That's
hype.
dope.
That
Yeah.
yeah, especially like
The
Will
Bucks. Oh,
Ospreay and
and then you got the Bucks going against Will Ospreay and Swerve. Let's go.
yeah, that's I need a solid 25 minutes
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least, at least.
You might as well strap in because you're gonna be all in starts at 3. I don't see that.
Get your cup of
That's
coffee and stay
yeah,
high. It's gonna
yeah.
get crazy. I
It's
don't think
gonna
there's
be
gonna be
long
one dull
but worth
moment
it.
from that
Yes,
show.
yeah.
I do not think. I think if anything, that show probably
And if
gonna
you're
end
able
at
to
10
get tickets and
o'clock.
go there, you're getting your money's worth. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be a point. You're probably realistically be sitting there saying, "Hey, I think we've been here long enough. It's time to go."
I think somebody's gonna say, "Man, I've been
Finish this
sitting here for
too.
3 hours and I haven't been able to move out of my
Move, yeah,
seat
yeah,
because it's so good."
yeah, yeah.
And that's how I feel like it's gonna be, and that's how any pay per view should feel like. You don't want to leave or miss anything
Miss anything.
because it's that good. So I would cheer. Hey, big ups to AEW. Y'all gonna kill it. We've been watching the work y'all been putting in this last year, and I can't wait to see it, man. It's gonna be a banger. So, as always, please make sure y'all follow all of our social medias. Y'all already know what to do. We didn't tell you this news all the time. Facebook, we on that. We on that. Instagram, we on that. TikTok, we're on that as well. We appreciate the love, support y'all been giving us, and we thank everybody for the support and the love y'all
Yes,
been
sir.
showing us
Thank
on
you.
TikTok with the panels, on YouTube with the subscriptions. Man, just keep them coming, and we're gonna
Thanks for the
keep
love.
giving y'all that content the exclusive way. Yeah, man, really, we really do appreciate the love and support y'all been giving, man. Just keep liking it up. Look, when I tell y'all we still have more in store, we legitimately have way more. Look, you thought it was over when we just showed y'all a few new segments. We still got more stuff coming for y'all. It's all in the works. It really is. I promise you.
Yeah.
But as always, I'm your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight. And we have the one man and the only man that can check you into the Heartbreak Hotel, and that's the Heartbreak Prince himself. Because we are the exclusive nights, and we ensure that your nights will be the best there is,
There is.
the
Oh, that's
best there
right. The best
was,
there was, and the best
and
there
the
ever
best there
will
ever
be.
will be. And to ensure that your night will
Will
never
never be the
be the
same.
same.
So
Y'all
turn your
be
TV off.
good.
Turn your TV off. We out.